Okay. Alrighty. It did come across like that, didn't it? And I told somebody about the mark of a beast, and it did come across. I love you. You're not supposed to talk religion. You're not supposed to talk politics. I guess maybe talk sport. maybe, maybe. Okay, okay, okay. All right. Okay. Oh, all right. Okay. So good evening, everyone. And listen, I'm I'm looking at our numbers, and given that it's Valentine's Day, and a lot of folks I would have expected to be with the honey buns. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us. And obviously, we are also recording this. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to provide some updates on Divvee. Typically on Tuesday nights for the past few weeks, we've been using this as a presentation of Click, Rank, and Bank, which is a marketing and training portal that we'll be launching soon to promote Divvee.Social. So we've been doing Tuesday nights kind of as a presentation, stretching your vision, allowing you to bring guests on, and we may very well have, with the numbers, I would imagine we've got quite a few guests here tonight. What we're going to do tonight, however, is we're going to focus more on just bringing you an update. And I'm going to tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I've been wrong before. All right, so that's my disclaimer. I believe that Divvee, especially if she performs, and I'm extremely pleased with what I'm seeing in terms of the company communicating. I believe that Divvee could be the big one. Okay, it's been a while since we've had a huge in the network marketing space, a huge winner. I'd have to go back to 2011, between 2011 and 2012, about August of 2012, where we had just a monstrous winner. Unfortunately, that particular model, they didn't dot the I's, didn't cross the T's, ran into regulatory headwinds, and with little to no warning, they were gone. With Divvee, I see no regulatory risk, and that's not what we're going to talk about, but maybe if we have time, we can talk about that either tonight, or if not, sometime later on, why I don't see any regulatory risk, mainly because nobody's paying for anything really. You know, you're paying an annual subscription. There's no monthly ongoing anything. So I certainly don't see any regulatory risk, and I see the potential of the masses, this being a model for the masses. I'm gonna make a note of that one. I like that. Model for the masses. Most marketing opportunities, particularly network marketing, are really only designed for the top tier marketers, the ones that already have a very large following. In network marketing, particularly, the traditional network marketing model, given the new economy, meaning given the fact that we're no longer in the days where most people are going to go to, at least most people in certain countries. Now, in certain countries, maybe some of the Latin American countries, maybe some of the Asian countries, they might still do a lot of house-to-house meetings or hotel meetings or what have you. But in the U.S. and Canada, Australia, countries like that, most people are relying more on technology to build their businesses than they are face-to-face, belly-to-belly type of meetings. Well, with that being the case, marketing has radically changed over the past few years, so that if you are promoting a network marketing opportunity and you didn't already have an audience, it's very difficult to promote that and for you to build a large-scale organization, because in order for you to make money with this new economy, the internet, mobile, and what have you, you have to go into the cold market with traffic, all right? Getting visitors to your site, in most cases paid traffic. or paid marketing. And most compensation models do not lend themselves from a network marketing perspective for you to make enough money from your team as they're buying stuff or what have you, for you to make enough money to have an ongoing marketing budget, an ongoing traffic budget. This is why we've seen these surgence or resurgence, or I don't know if that's the right word, but this is why we've seen high ticket models become more and more in favor in our industry, so that when you get a sale, you make $1,000 or $2,000 in commissions. That allows you to have a marketing budget. Well, what Divvee is proposing to us is that folks will be able to develop a marketing budget with a little bit of sweat equity. Okay, so let's go into our Divvee updates real quickly. One, I want to talk about the ease of rank and share. All right, now I know that a large percentage of our audience that you are not in Divvee just yet. When we did our research on Divvee, it was about 24 hours before they actually took the enrollment site down. So we were able to enroll, we were able to get a few people to enroll, but only a small segment of our audience has actually enrolled in Divvee. Now, those who were fortunate enough to enroll in Divvee, a couple of weeks ago, they released Rank and Share on Android. Okay, it's not yet been released on Apple iOS. It appears that Apple iOS is a little more cumbersome in terms of getting apps released and updated. They have the app on iOS. However, during this kind of testing phase over the last couple of weeks, they've been looking at what, the little bugs here and there on Android, able to fix those bugs. And then once they feel like they've got it exactly where they want it on Android, they're going to go back to Apple iOS so that they can get the app approved through iOS, as opposed to having to do it, 23 million times. Okay. All right. Now, what I want to talk about real quickly is the ease of rank and share. All right. And, we're calling it rank and share because that's what the company originally started talking about when we saw it, well more than a month ago. And like anything in business, particularly when you're at a pre-launch stage, you'll have things written on paper, then you go to the real world and things might work differently, either for the good or for the bad. In this case, I'm not hearing them saying, well, they still say rank and share. Right now, what we're really doing is we are watching, for the most part, 30-second or less videos about various apps. Many of these are gaming apps. All right, so on your Android device, whether it's a tablet or whether it's a cell phone, you're watching a 30-second or less video. There are some that have been like 20 seconds. I think the longest one I've seen has been 35 seconds. And we are going to earn our points. Remember, from your own personal activity, you're going to accumulate points. Those points will be able to be redeemed at the Divvee Redemption Center. That will include everything from being able to redeem it for products and services like computers or toasters or golf clubs. Our focus will be on redeeming those points for gift cards. Now, not everyone will have the accessibility of gift cards once the system is back up and running. In order for the gift cards to be there, your country has to be in country. In country simply meaning that they have gone through all of the regulatory or legal requirements to be able to operate legally in your state. A lot of companies launch internationally, but they haven't gone to the specific countries to go through whatever the legal processes are to do business. All right, so and before they get gift cards in your country, then your country would have to be in what they call in-country status. Okay, prior to that, you'll be able to rank and share once the system comes back up with new enrollments. You'll be able to earn points. and you can either allow those points to accrue, or you can redeem those points at the Divvy Gift Center, okay, and get those products or services sent to you. But ultimately, we want to focus, once you are in country, redeeming those points for gift cards. So let's say if you're in the US and you normally shop at Walmart or Target or Amazon.com or what have you, instead of you pulling money out of your pocket to make those purchases, you're using the gift card. Now the money that's left in your pocket is what we refer to as a cash equivalent, okay? Now, this is a very simple process. For those of you that were following us with THW Global, which I believe is just a bunch of crap now, but for those of you who are following us, you know that sometimes it was laborious watching videos, and they were having so many problems with their system and what have you. Rank and share is so simple. It is so easy. I can't even begin. Queen, if you didn't step away, I'd love for you to unmute yourself. I'd love for you to have a conversation with me on this. Queen, what's been your experience with Rank and Share? I don't want to put words in your mouth. What's been your experience with Rank and Share? Yeah, very easy. So when two weeks ago, when they first released Rank and Share, what was happening is we could rank and share 20 activities a day, okay? And then what happened was last week, we were able to rank and share. They would release 5 activities an hour. All right, so you could go in and you can rank and share 5 an hour. But now what has happened, now I don't know if this is going to be, how things will work. One of the things that we have to do is understand that this is a very fluid, meaning, it could be ever changing situation, particularly as they open up to more and more countries once we start the new enrollments. Right now, I understand there might be a couple 100,000 people that registered before they took the enrollments down. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean there's a couple 100,000 people that are ranking and sharing on a daily basis. So I don't know what those numbers are. Obviously, when they open up new enrollments, there's going to be a floodgate that's going to open up. And in terms of inventory, they'll probably be playing around with that for a while to determine the best way to roll that out to the masses so that they have enough inventory. So I don't know if what they've done the past week is going to be what they'll be doing forever and ever. We just need to be adult enough to understand that things are fluid. So here's how it's worked 2 weeks ago and how it's worked over the last week. 2 weeks ago, you could rank and share 20 activities a day. Okay, once you got to 20 activities, you couldn't rank and share anymore. Now, our messaging has been we want to be responsible for a minimum, of 50 rank and share activities a day. And so how do we get to that if 20 is the number? Well, first we start off in our own household. You're going to be able to refer your spouse or your significant other, any children that are 18 and over. So even if 20 was the max number a day, many of you have someone that you have influence with, whether they are in your household or maybe like in my case, I've got tremendous influence with my mom and my dad, okay? So our 50 was based on our activity, based on activities of anybody in our household, as well as any free customers. Now, they're not going to start off with free customers, but once the free customer part is there, I believe that's going to be a huge part of our business. The non-entrepreneur, my Aunt Jan, the non-entrepreneur, my Aunt Barbara, the non-entrepreneur, my brother-in-law, Jamie, I've never gotten them to join a business. All right. My sister-in-law, Tiny, I've never gotten her to join a business. But I believe with the Redemption Center, particularly if people are earning a good amount of points for their personal activity as free customers, they're going to rank and share so that they can earn points for the stuff that's in the Redemption Center. Okay. And there's a lot of stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff in the Redemption Center. And so when we were doing our figures on mapping out a goal for our audience to ultimately get to 6 or 7 figures, we came up with a figure of 50 ranking shares, because you can do 50 ranking shares. You know, if they allow us to do more than 20 in a day, 50 ranking shares is basically no time. All right. I'm busy like all of you. You know, my wife has some form of treatment 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. 3 days a week I'm up, you know, getting ready for treatment at 4 o'clock, taking her to treatment, picking her back up, making sure my daughter gets to school and breakfast and all, doing all that stuff. All right. And today we still got 110 ranking shares in today. My wife did 120. My mom, I think, had 95. All right. So when I'm watching my Stephen A. Smith, you know, ESPN First Take, well, guess what I'm also doing? I'm ranking and sharing. When I'm waiting for a video that maybe we've just cut and we're waiting for it to load up, you know, that we're rendering, guess what we're able to do? We're ranking and sharing. If I'm standing in the grocery store line, guess what I can do? We can rank and share. Very, very simple. Now, the way it's been administered over the last week, I'm hoping that will be long term, because what they've been doing is every hour they release up to 5 activities. Well, let's say you go to sleep and you sleep for 6, 7, 8 hours. So what has been happening is when I awaken, I've got maybe 40 or 50 activities that I can do. Now, maybe I've only done 10. All right. So now I can take some time out and, you know, get up to speed to, you know, having done 40 activities. So what I simply do is when I get up, and my, you know, getting my wife ready for treatments or what have you, you know, got breakfast done. While she's eating breakfast, I'm ranking and sharing. All right. When I come from taking her to where I have to take her, and then I come home to wake up my daughter and make sure that she's ready to go off to school while she's eating breakfast, I'm ranking and sharing. After I pick my wife up from treatment and we come back home and we have some time together and have lunch, I'm ranking and sharing. All right. So the way they've administered it over the past week allows you to personally rank and share up to 120 activities a day. And so you know, obviously when they open up the floodgates, I don't know that they will have the same amount of inventory per person. So, you know, I don't know if we'll be able to do 120 or what the numbers will be, but I certainly believe that what we've shared with our audience about doing 50, or at least being responsible for 50, is a good number to shoot for, because in my family, all right, with just my wife and myself, we should be able to do 50 minimum between the both of us. I'm the entrepreneur, she's not the entrepreneur, so what she's doing would count for the 50 that we're talking about. And by the way, if you don't know what we're talking about, when we do our presentations, we show an example of you having a certain number of people on your team that are doing 50 activities a day on average. So if you had 10 people averaging 50 activities a day, over a month's time, that would generate roughly $1,500 in commissions. Remember, when you rank and share, you're earning points. Your points are not cash. Your points can be redeemed for gift cards once Divvee is in your country. It can be redeemed at the redemption center if they're not in your country, okay, for products and services that you might want or purchase. Some of you might even get those products and services and then turn around and resell them on an e-commerce platform or what have you. All right. However, when people in your organization rank and share, they get their points, you get commissions, which leads me to something that really excited me over, I think it was last Thursday or Friday. All right, so hold on, before I get to that, hold on, I'm gonna talk about commission video. Okay, so I wanna make sure that everyone understands how it's currently being administered. What happens is at 12 GMT, and if you don't know what that is, that means Greenwich Mean Time, and there's a web address, time time.is/GMT. All right, so I'm going to jump over there real quickly. Time.is/GMT. All right, and this is now GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. It is now 1:31 a.m. GMT. All right, so this is kind of like the world's clock. So at 12 a.m. GMT is when the system resets for the day. If you're in the U.S. on the East Coast right now, before you spring forward, that is 7 p.m. New York time. If you're Pacific Coast, that's 4 p.m. New York time, okay? If you're ever confused, just go to time.is/GMT. At 12 a.m. GMT, the system resets. So for instance, at 11:59, all right, or 6:59, my current time, p.m., what happened was I had about 110 ranking shares for the day, but when it hit 12 a.m., it zeroed out, all right, and the system gave me the potential of 5 activities. So I could go in and I could rank and share those 5 activities, and then the next hour it would give another 5, and the next hour it would give another 5. So what's been happening over the last week is that those activities would compound. So if you went 3 hours without doing any ranking and sharing, let's say at 12 GMT, they gave you 5 activities, and you ranked and shared those 5 activities. And then you went 3 hours and you did nothing, okay? Then when you went back into the system, you know, let's say 3 hours later, 4 hours later, whatever the time is, you would have 15 additional potential activities that you could rank and share. And if you have the time and it didn't run out of content, then you could rank and share all of those new 15, you know, in one setting. Now, what does happen from time to time is you'll get a message that says no content available. And what I've just done is, if I had the time, I would just wait a few minutes and I would go back in, and in many cases, there was now new content that was showing, and I was able to continue to rank and share. We also have noticed that like one day, my wife was up to 85 rank and shares. I was behind for the day because we were working on what we were working on, and I had maybe 20 or 25 rank and shares. All right. Well, in her system, it told her that she had no more content available. She didn't have any immediate content available. It was like maybe there were 90 activities, and maybe she'd already done 85, as an example. Okay, I don't remember the exact numbers, and there were 90 available, and maybe I'd only done 20. Well, when she was ranking and sharing, it said no content available. However, on my device, I was still able to rank and share. So I don't know if they have something programmed in where if someone is hasn't done a lot of ranking and sharing, they'll have more content available to them than somebody who's already, close to the cap for that particular time of day. I'm not sure how that all works, but I just thought that was pretty cool that, okay, so what that may mean, this is me talking, not corporate, this is me talking. What that may mean is if a person doesn't have a lot of rank and share activity that day, they might have access to more content than the person who is maybe, very close to capping out for the day, okay? Now, the commission video. They released a beta version of the commission video. And what I was excited about with the commission video was not so much the video. The video is okay. I think it'll work okay in the warm market. I don't think it's going to be a big winner in the cold market, because if I had just seen that, I probably wouldn't have thought much about it, okay? And that's not to foo-fooey on it. That's just to understand that when you're going to a cold market, all right, you need something more robust in terms of not only presentation, but also follow-up, which is why we've been working so hard on developing our follow-up system with Click, Rank, and Bang. But what did excite me, and I'm not saying that the foo-fooey on the video, and I'm not saying that don't use the video once it's available. I think it'll work decently in the war market. But if you are just going to, if you're going to go to the cold market with paid marketing, for instance, don't expect that video to get you a whole bunch of signups, because a lot of people are going to distribute that video. I think without framing it properly, that a lot of people are just going to dismiss it as another one of them their thingies, okay? Which is why we've got the robust follow-up system that you'll be able to leverage. But here's what excited me about the commission video. When I would go and I would look at these numbers, okay? You know, what if you had 56 people doing 50 activities on average a day, all right? So there were 2,800 activities being done on a daily basis. And whether it was 56 folks doing 50 or it was 280 folks doing 10 a day or what have you, the number here of daily rank and share activities was 2,800. So if you had 2,800 daily rank and share activities and you were averaging 10 cents in commissions per activity in your organization, in your 3-by matrix, that would generate $8,400 a month. Now, I got the 10 cents from the earlier videos that the CEO did. The CEO, what's his, Darren, bald head, I think Hispanic guy, which I love his videos. I just, oh, by the way, have you seen that dude's biceps? Good grief, that dude is chiseled. All right, so in any event, he was saying, you know, a penny to a quarter, but all of his examples were using 10 cents. And when I look at these numbers, I'm saying, man, at 10 cents, this thing is crazy. This is 56 folks doing 50 that could generate a 6-figure a year income. You know, then I went down and said, well, let's put a zero on that. 560 folks in the matrix that could house just under 90,000 folks. So you could have, in a perfectly filled 3-by-10 matrix, 88,572 folks. All right, not to mention all the free members that could be ranking and sharing that generate commissions as well. I'm saying, my gosh, with 560 folks doing 50 a day on average, you know, that's $1 million a year. $84,000 a month would take you over $1 million a year. So I wondered if that was more of a pre-launch, this is what we think could happen, but now when we go to the real world, you know, the numbers might be different. So I played around and said, well, maybe it won't be 10 cents. Maybe it's going to be 3 cents. I don't know. I was just playing around. I said, okay, well, that's still not bad. I mean, if you've got 560 folks doing 50 a day and we were averaging only 3 cents per activity, that's still 25,000 a month. That's still 300,000 a year. Okay. All right. So I was preparing that when they were going to do the new video, that maybe they weren't going to be talking 10 cents. Guess what they were talking? They were talking 10 cents. So that part excited me because, you know, my father-in-law said this. He said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And what these guys have shown me, these guys being the founders and the CEO of Divvee, all right? I've not met them personally, all right? But I love the fact that they communicate. I don't regard them as great communicators at all, all right? There are often times when they do the Facebook Live that sometimes I walk away with more questions than I had answers. But here's what I love. And to me, that's just a function of communication isn't necessarily their strong suit, all right? To me, what's a big deal is they communicate. Because some of you were following us for 4, 5, 6 months while we were with a company that did not communicate, that did not respect us enough to do any Facebook Lives or webinars or conference calls. We were having to wing it with the small bit of information that we got. And so I love the fact that they are communicating. And, you know, I've got to think that there's a lot of pressure from the field to, hey, open up new enrollments, open up new enrollments. But I love the fact that they are resolved in making sure that this is a pleasurable experience. So let's get as many of the bugs as we can find squashed Might there be some folks that get frustrated and walk away and do other things because they need to do other things? Certainly, all right? That very well could happen. To me, this is another reason why I'm actually enjoying the fact that they haven't launched just yet, because I believe that a lot of people that did register early on that might be your competition for getting new people to join, if they're not tied into a leadership team like ours, all right, they're doing other things. And then when she launches, you're going to have the opportunity immediately to be able to get your link out and maybe get some people on your team that would have gone to someone else. All right, so I'm cool with that. So I love the fact that they're still talking the 10 cents. Basically, if an activity generated $1 in commissions, 10 cents got paid up 10 levels. I'm loving, and this is why I believe if they perform, this will be the biggest thing that we've probably ever seen in our network marketing experience, even with what we saw between 2011 and 2012, which that was kick butt. But they ran into regulatory issues. I don't see any regulatory issues here. All right. So you can see even down here, I was playing around with 3 cents on my chart. I was wanting to see if we were at 3 cents. What would it take to be at a 7-figure pace, $1 million a year pace? Right. So with 2,000, it would. Still, I mean, if it was 3 cents, all right, 2,000 folks on your team to generate over $1 million a year, that's just, we've never seen that before in our industry. Okay, so let me get back to my notes here. Okay, bear with me. All right, so the commission video was out. We did that. Okay, all right. Right now, we're not able to see our points and commissions. Right now, we can't see our points and commissions. So when we're ranking and sharing, what we can see is something that they call coins. And they haven't really detailed what these coins will really mean to us. They're not commissions, they're not points. So they're not redeemable for gift cards. At least that's the information that we've heard so far. They're not commissions that you're gonna go and spend, from commission dollars that you receive. We can see coins, but we can't see points and commissions. Now, what they said on their Tuesday update, which by the way, they now do, on the Monday update, they now do a Monday and Thursday update at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. That is 6 p.m. New York time. So if you're not in the U.S., you can go to timeanddate.com, okay? Find out, you can put in New York time or you can put in Mountain Time or what have you, and that'll tell you what time of day that is in your part of the world. And that's when they do their Facebook Live, okay? So instead of doing it Monday through Friday, at one point they were doing it 7 days a week. To me, that was overkill, all right? But I appreciated it. I appreciated the fact that they were willing to take that time out. They were basically doing that because January 10th is when they were originally talking about launching. But what they did not anticipate, they were expecting to launch with about 5,000 folks. And what happened is the week before they took the site down, I think one day, from what someone told me, I think they had over 40,000 registrants in one day. And they wound up with over 200,000 registrants when they were only expecting 5,000. Well, if you have a system that's based on, hey, we think we're going to get 5,000, all of a sudden it's 200,000, you know what? You probably need to take some extra time and make sure that you stress test the system, because what you don't want to have happen is going live with 200,000, which very quickly could be 1 million, and these 1 million people have a bad experience because they didn't take the time to stress test, okay? So with that being the case, what they did is so that people would have some confidence, they were doing Facebook Lives every single day. Then they scaled back a couple weeks ago to Monday through Friday. And essentially what was happening is a lot of the same information was being repeated. So what they decided to do was to scale back to Monday and Thursday. All right, so there'll be an update in a couple of days. So I'm sharing with you some information from what they said on yesterday. And then, of course, they'll do an update on Thursday. If there's something that's really pressing, we will make sure that our audience gets that either Thursday or Friday when we send out our posts. Okay? All right. Now, obviously, you can go and you can check out the Facebook Live, or, obviously with the Facebook Live, it's also recorded and it winds up being on their Facebook page. So you feel free to go and check that out. Now, one of the things they mentioned is that soon, it could be as early as this week, they said they're going to go dark. Now, this is what I mean by communicating. They didn't communicate exactly what that means. Now, what I expect that means at a minimum is that those of us that were able to get into the system, we won't be able to log into our back office, all right? What it could also mean, which they did not say, is whether or not we'll be able to do any rank and share activities during that time. So dark could mean we can't log in, nor can we do any rank and share activities. I don't know. They did not make that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, but I know when they go dark, one of the things they're working on, Queen, is making sure that the app and the back office sync together so that when you are ranking and sharing, when the lights come back on and we're no longer dark, we're supposed to be able to see points from our rank and share activities as well as commissions. So I'm not sure, Queen, if dark means everything is dark, including the app or what have you. I'm not sure. Okay. Right. So those of you who are not in the system yet, being dark won't really mean anything to you because you don't have access to anything right now. For those of you that are in the system, certainly do not expect to be able to log in, and we'll find out soon enough once they go dark as to whether or not we'll be able to rank and share. Now, for those of you that can get in the system now, make sure you are ranking and sharing on a daily basis and maxing out your rank and share activities, because points are accruing, though we can't see them. Commissions are accruing, though we can't see them just yet. And be mindful, all right? Be mindful that from ranking share activities, they're being paid by the ad networks. Well, the ad networks don't necessarily pay, on a week-to-week cycle. All right. In many cases, it might be 4 to 6 weeks in arrears. All right. So, for instance, let's say what week this is. If we use Sunday as the start of the week, February the 12th may not pay out. So everything that happens from Sunday to Saturday, and I don't know how they'll do their weeks. All right, so everything that happened from this past Sunday to this upcoming Saturday, all right, they probably won't be paid for at least 4 to 6 weeks from that activity. So assuming that to be the case, we're going to all probably be in arrears 4 to 6 weeks. Now, ultimately, we'll be in the system long enough that we'll be earning every single week based on what happened 4 to 6 weeks prior. So hopefully that makes sense. So now this is really important, that if you're already in the system, that you're ranking and sharing on a daily basis, because what that's going to allow you is, once we see points, once we can redeem points, once they're commissions, you're going to have that first monetary testimony of you did some rank and shares and you got some points and you were able to convert points to either certain products or to gift cards or what have you. Okay, that's going to be huge, huge, huge going forward, having that personal testimonial. And the same thing with commissions, because some of you, not many, some of you were able to get into the system and get a few others in the system before they went dark when we first got into the system. And some of you aren't necessarily in our matrix, you in the system before with another team, you just find value in our messaging, and so you follow us. So you know, perhaps I know one of you has a very large team into the thousands already, which congratulations for that person I'm talking about. Okay, all right, so it's going to go dark. All right, now that's a big sign to me when she says she goes dark. And we don't know when they're going to turn the lights on, okay? Is it going to be a few days? Is it going to be a week? Is it going to be 2 weeks? Don't know, okay? But when she turns the lights on, that's going to be a clue that we are getting closer to new enrollment. So here's what they said, okay? What they said, let me look at my notes. All right, they said they're going to go dark. After they turn the lights back on, we should see points and commissions. Should see points and commissions. Now, what I don't know, Queen, I'm wondering, I would love to see this. I don't know that this is their plan. I would love to see if you could see the points, at least the points of your personally enrolled. I know right now, when you go into your back office, you're able to see everyone that you personally enrolled. And something that we haven't seen in years is they even allow you to drill down and see people that your folks have enrolled. Now, most companies don't do that. Most companies, what they will do is they'll show you the name and the contact information of the person that you personally enrolled. But then, let's say you enrolled John. If John enrolled Mary, normally you won't see any of her contact information. Right now you can. I don't know if they're going to change that or not, okay? We definitely want to make sure that none of our folks abuse that, meaning it would be unethical for me to drill down and see Queen Twitter and then see the people that she personally enrolled and I see their email addresses. Now let me email them some other offer. That would be unethical, okay? And that's one of the reasons that most companies don't even show that information. Whether they're going to continue to show that or not, I'm not sure. What I would love to see them show at least are points, because I'd love to be able to see for my personally sponsored, you know, where they stand for the month in points, because in order for someone to be considered a qualified affiliate, they need to do at least 100 rank and share activities for the month. The way it's currently constructed, that's not a problem, because some of you can do 100 in a day, okay? And that's where I've been averaging personally somewhere between 80 at a low to 120 a day. My wife normally gets her 120 in. My mom's been between about 80 and 100, maybe 110 or so, okay? All right, so that's supposed to happen once they turn the lights back on. Also, we should see the team building structure, or what they refer to as the TBS. We don't see that now, okay? And what we see now is what they call the PIN. This is the Personal Enrollment Network. Now, so I can see the people that I've personally enrolled, okay? I can start to drill down and see people that they've enrolled and so forth. But it's not set up in a matrix structure, all right? And I'm assuming that the TBS will be set up in a matrix structure. So for instance, when I go into my back office, I don't know, I see this, this wheel that shows 10 people, but I don't know who's on my first level or who's on my second level. If I drill down and I see Queen Twitter and I see that she's got some people that she's personally enrolled, but I have no idea what level they fall in my team building structure. So I'm assuming, this is me talking, I'm assuming that when the TBS is available, we'll be able to better understand, okay, maybe I personally enrolled 10, but where did those 10 fall? Who occupies my first level? Who occupies my second level? Who occupies my third level? And so on and so forth, okay? So we're supposed to be able to see the team building structure once they turn the lights back on. Right now we just see the personal enrollment network, okay? And this will be extremely beneficial to see where you maybe have holes in your matrix, where maybe you've got 3 legs in your matrix. All right, you've got 3 legs in your matrix, and seeing your TBS is going to help you to see, okay, maybe it's this first leg that's really going to town. That first leg is really growing. And so the second leg or the third leg, maybe those are the weaker legs. Now, this is not a binary where you've got to balance, activity in one leg versus another to receive compensation. In order for you to override your organization, you simply need to have personally referred affiliates to unlock the levels. Each personally referred qualified affiliate, a qualified affiliate being someone who has done a minimum of 100 rank and share activities for the month. All right, let's say once this is all up and running, for the previous month, they've done 100 rank and share activities, so now they're qualified for this month for you to have that level unlocked. And number 2, when it's time, they have paid the affiliate fee, either $50 US out of pocket, or out of pocket, credit card, that kind of stuff, or they've accumulated 750 points and use those 750 points to cover that outlay. All right, so that's a qualified affiliate. 100 rank and share activities, not a day, not a week, but a month, which anyone who's serious should be able to knock that out, no problem, okay? And then they've done the $50 or the 750 points when it's time. All right, most countries outside the U.S., that's not even going to be a concern right away, okay? And I think they also talked about that their attorneys were going to the countries that are going to be going live soon. So Canada, Japan, Mexico, Colombia, what am I missing? Peru, and the U.S. Those are the ones that. Yeah, they're in country. They do have to work on the gift cards for Colombia. Sounds like they've got the gift cards lined up for the U.S. So in any event, when they turn the lights back on, then we'll go back. Maybe ranking and sharing doesn't stop during that time, and if it doesn't, we'll want to continue to rank and share. If it does, then we'll just wait for them to turn the lights back on. But that's going to be a signal that we're getting close to new enrollments, because one of the things they're doing as they go dark is any genealogical issues there might have been, and we really didn't have any because we got in so late, okay? But there were some folks right there at that last rush that maybe something happened and they're not showing in someone's genealogy or what have you. So people have had a couple of weeks to send in their genealogical fixes and get those done. So once they turn the lights on, any of those genealogical fixes are supposed to be in place, okay? They're not going to do any additional fixes beyond that. Then they're just going to continue to stress test and make sure that everything's working as it should. Then they'll open up for new enrollments. Now, will that be a week from now, 2 weeks from now? I don't know. I have no idea. Okay, I have no idea. From my vantage point, I'm glad they haven't opened up at this point, because I know what we're doing on the back end to help support the building of the organization for what I wanted to have in place to build my own personal referral network, and then what I wanted to be able to release to our audience so that you can leverage that as well, no matter if you're in our organization or not. And that's our Click, Rank, and Bank. A lot of work going into that on the back. So, if it's another couple weeks, I'm cool with that. That just gives me more time to do what we want to have done for that. Okay. So don't know when they're going to be ready to launch. What I want us doing is just preparing, knowing that at some point it is going to launch. We want to be there, and we want to already have people that are committing to joining us in our various networks, personal enrollment networks. Okay, let me see if there's anything else. After running smoothly. Okay, all right, now I want to turn my attention to something now. And I want to talk about real quickly why I believe this could be the big one. I want to tell you a little story here of something that happened a few years ago. So, all right, so I got in this industry back in 1994. Back then, you didn't do paid marketing so much. It was, face-to-face, belly-to-belly. The internet was not a player in the game. So you filled out your memory jogger. Give me a moment here. You filled out your memory jogger. Who do you know that is a Dallas Cowboys fan? who do you know that you went to school with? Who do you know that you go to worship service with? Who's your mail person? What have you, okay? And so you filled out this list of all these folks, and the goal was to have 100 people that you put on a memory jogger to start to prospect them for your business. Well, even if you did, most people never did that, but even if you did, the reality is out of those 100 folks, probably 80, 85, 90 weren't entrepreneurial. Now, back then, a lot has changed back then. Back then, people were still more into their jobs. Now, a lot of people realize that their job certainly isn't enough, and they're looking for additional ways. And the internet has made our industry a lot more acceptable than it once was. With affiliate programs and things of that nature that have nothing to do with network marketing. So now a lot more people have opened themselves up to network marketing as a result. All right, now, the reason I believe this could be the big one, all right, one, I really like their management, okay? The guys seem down to earth. They don't seem like I've seen some management teams where, they just look like they had big egos and pride goes before a fall. So I like the fact that these guys seem down to earth. It appears, based on the little that I know of them, that they've had some management experience prior. It appears that they've got really big money backing them up. We detailed that a few weeks ago in an interview with the CFO. I didn't do the interview, but someone in our leadership line did an interview with the chief financial officer. So it appears that they have quite a bit of money backing them up. One of the reasons that a lot of network marketing companies never get off the ground, and I know this for personal reasons, because I was a part owner at one point between 2006 and 2008 of a network marketing company, but we were just underfunded. All right, and not them, I basically sold everything I had, to put into that enterprise. So it wasn't that I didn't have a lot into the enterprise, but when you look at the large scale of business building, we were just underfunded. And that underfunding basically, and some bad mismanagement from a couple of our business partners. There were 5 of us that were owners, basically did things in. They look like they've got funding based on what we've been told from the CFO. So I really like their management. I like that they communicate. I like that their focus is on building something that Joe and Susie average can make money with. You've probably heard them say that their goal is to help 1 million people generate an average of $500 a month. Now, $500 a month doesn't do it for me, but I understand this. My great friends and mentors, Zeke and Jerry Stewart, taught me this way back in the early 2000s. Zeke would say, Doc, if you want to make 20,000 a month, 30,000 a month, 50,000 a month, don't focus on you making 20, 30, 50,000. Focus on getting as many of your people as you can making between 300 to 500 a month. And if you focus on that, you'll make the 20, the 30, the 50, the 100,000 a month. Okay. So I like the focus on that. Okay. Obviously, the activity or the way that money will be generated is for the masses. So the reality is a person can generate results from their own personal rank and share activities that could impact their bottom line, even if they never build the business, especially once they have the gift cards, if they are directing their points to gift cards so that now they're not spending $200 at Walmart, they're using that gift card for $200. And they get to, even if they don't do our pledge or anything like that, they get to keep that $200 in their pocket, which just became an extra $200 worth of cash flow, okay? So it's for the masses. Now, our initial sales presentation that we'll have with Click, Rank, and Bank will be aimed at marketers so that you can start to get people that are already used to marketing, all right, even if they're not good at it, all right, they're used to at least trying to market, on your team to help build out your matrix faster, okay? But the reality is, if these guys perform, and I only say guys because I haven't seen any guyettes yet, all right? But if these dudes and any dudettes perform, this will change our industry because it's going to allow us to go outside of our industry to get new blood into our industry. I mean, just think about all the possibilities, whether you're talking college students, whether you're talking retirees, whether you're talking at-home moms, at-home dads, what have you, the number of people that this messaging would appeal to. I'm not even talking about the building of the network messaging, just, hey, this is fun, you're on your cell phone anyway, you've got your tablet anyway, while you're standing in the line in grocery store, you might as well do some ranking and sharing, get some points, and especially when you have, and we'll have tons of testimonies. You know, just think about what happens when you use a gift card, all right, and document that. You know, do a video of that, even if you don't put your face on camera. Just think about what's going to happen when that messaging goes out. The fact that ultimately there'll be even the free member position. So some of you are going to do some advertising in job-like sites, you know, because a person doesn't have to doesn't have to come out of pocket in order to rank and share. And so it's for the masses. Okay, it's for the masses. Most network marketing companies are not designed for the masses. They're designed for a small niche of people. Now, that small niche might be millions, tens of millions of folks. All right, but this is designed for the masses. Okay, it's dealing with mobile. So now we've got far more mobile devices than there are computers. And I can tell you, having moved from the US to a little, very rural area in the Caribbean, considered a third world country, what I was not expecting is to see as many folks as I saw with smartphones. And when we first moved there, because I'm not a big cell phone guy, if I wouldn't even carry one around if my wife didn't make me carry one around. I want to leverage it from a business standpoint, all right? But to me, it's just another intrusion. You know, that's why I don't give out my phone. I'd never get any work done if people were texting me all day or they were calling me all day. One of the reasons I love our mobile marketing system that we have is because when someone texts me, it doesn't come to my phone. It goes into an online platform, and I only see that when I go into the online platform. So when I am in laboratory mode, like I've been here over the past couple of weeks, really hunkering down for building out CRB and the email campaign, you know, I need as little distractions as possible, all right? So, but we moved to this rural area where my internet was horrible at home, so I had to go and get an office in town to be closer to the internet tower to have decent working internet. And a lot of the people in that town had a more up-to-date smartphone than I did. And I had just moved from the US. Blew me away. Absolutely blew me away, okay? So it's dealing with mobile. Mobile's not going anywhere. We want to take advantage of mobile, and there aren't that many opportunities yet that are centered around mobile. There's a couple of apps, like a sports app type thing, and there's one that's got some gaming to it and what have you, but nothing that has really caught fire in our industry, okay? It doesn't look like, I don't see any regulatory issues other than one of the things that we've got to guard ourselves against is making crazy income claims, okay? But typically companies are able to overcome income claims by having things in their terms and conditions that say, hey, if you're making these income claims, and if you don't stop it, we can terminate you. So most companies don't get into trouble regulatory wise because they're making income claims. It's normally, if it winds up being an issue, then whoever is making those income claims without the proper disclosures are the ones that could be suspended or terminated or what have you. Most companies that get into regulatory issues, there's some type of product or service that's being purchased on a monthly basis, and they don't have nearly enough customers outside of the network generating the revenue than they have people that are inside of the network generating revenue. Well, they're not generating revenue from us paying $50 a year. All right, that'll bring some revenue in, but that's not where we're going to be making the money that we're going to be making. We're going to be making that from the activities. The revenue is going to be generated from the ad networks. So for these reasons, I believe this is going to be absolutely huge. Now, let me share with you a little story. This is true, by the way. This is not a parable. All right. So when I first got in this industry, there was no discussion really about paid marketing. And because I had been in the industry from 94 until 2008 before I really made the decision to come online. When I came online in 2008, I heard the message of paid marketing, but when you've been indoctrinated a certain way for 14 years, it takes a while before I unlearned what I learned and began to understand the methods of really making money online. And I really didn't get it until about 2013, okay? So it still took me a while. We did okay, and in some cases we did exceptionally well because we had a following offline that started following us online. I didn't know much about paid marketing. All I did was what I knew to do, which was to present and train. That's what I did offline. I went from city to city presenting and training. So now my presenting and training ground was me doing live webinars, which is one of the reasons I do it, because I love doing it, and then sending out recordings to my email list. At that time, I didn't really understand the power of consistently building my email list, all right? So 2013 comes around, I now start to get it. The light bulb finally goes off. And I'm promoting a specific offer, which is a great offer, but it was a low outlay offer, okay? It had an initial subscription of $19.95 a month, all right? If anyone joined and got the subscription at my referral, I got a 50% commission, all right? So, $10 a month, okay? And then there was a $99 upgrade, all right? So once again, if someone did that, then I was at basically $50 a month if they upgraded, all right? Give me a moment. Then they had one product that was a one-time $249. Everything was a 50% commission. They had a product at the time that was $499, all right? 50% commission. All right, so that was kind of the product line. All right, so what I did was That particular company had a sales video that showed off the merits of the product. It didn't really go much into the network marketing component. It basically talked about the product. Get this subscription, and it primarily promoted just the initial subscription. And then if you got the initial subscription for $19.95 a month, I think there was maybe like an upsell to the $99 a month, and then maybe some upsells to these. But earlier on, a small percentage of people did the original upgrades. That wasn't really the focus of the company at the time. So what I did was I built out an email campaign, okay? Because the company, while it had a sales video, had no real robust follow-up system, as most companies do not, okay? Most companies do not have a robust follow-up system. And so what I did was I built out a 30-day email campaign. And the focus was knowing, one, that most people are not going to join the first time they see the first sales video. Okay, so I already know that. I already knew that. And the purpose of the email campaign was to provide value, and in providing value, to wrap my pitch, because I want you to do the $19.95 a month. And if you've done the $19.95 a month, then I want you to upgrade to the $99 a month. And if you've done that, I want you to upgrade to the one-time $249. If you've done that, I want you to upgrade to the one-time $499. Okay, so I put together this robust 30-day follow-up series, tremendous value that we were providing in there. And then I went and I did a traffic campaign. Now, what happened with this particular offer is that when I first started promoting the offer, we heard about the offer in pre-launch. We started doing much like what we're doing right now. We started galvanizing the troops, galvanizing the family, promoting the merits of that particular offer. It was about maybe 6 weeks before that company actually went live that we were doing at least a weekly webinar or what have you. So when that offer launched, Foy, you'll remember, Vernetta, you'll remember we had a 24-hour launch webinar because they said it was going to launch at a certain time and they ran into a technical issue. And so we stayed on the webinar for a full 24 hours, okay? And then ultimately it launched. We had a large team of folks that joined right away. And over the next, 2, 3, 4 weeks, we continued to see people joining from that original effort, that original thrust. But then a few months later, and now I had moved out of the country, I had started to get settled in my Caribbean paradise, and new sales, new recruits were starting to dry up. The reality is we had all of the people that had been following us that were going to joined, okay? And so now it was incumbent upon me to go outside of my list. The people that were going to join me from my list had already joined me. Those who had heard the message and they weren't interested, they decided not to join. Now I'd start learning about traffic. And it's not that I had done any big traffic campaign. I hadn't done any Facebook marketing. I hadn't done any Google pay-per-click or anything like that. All I did is I put together a robust follow-up campaign and linked that to the sales video. So I did a lead capture page, linked it to the sales video that the company had. Then I had my follow-up campaign. And my traffic sources, I just did solo ads. And, I hunted around a little bit for some solo ad providers. A solo ad is basically where you go and you say, hey, I've got some money. You got a big list. Send my offer to your big list for a certain amount of money. Okay. So that particular month, I had made some decent profits with the company up to that point. So now I'm starting to learn about traffic and the percentages that I should be allocating to my business minimum. And so I took $1,500 and did a multiple solo ad campaigns with multiple solo ad providers. Okay. So the numbers came back like this. All right. Out of my $1,500, I got roughly 400 email subscribers. Okay? All right, so if we do our numbers there, $1,500 divided by 400 subscribers, about $3.75 a lead. Which if I can get a good lead for less than $5, I'm extremely ecstatic. So I was cool with that number. Now I expected to have a 1% to a 5% conversion rate, meaning 1 to 5% of the new 400 email subscribers were going to join me, at least at the $19.95 level. Okay. All right. Well, I wound up getting 8 people that joined me. All right. From that traffic campaign, I got 8 recruits from that traffic campaign. And I know that because I didn't have any other marketing out there in the marketplace. Okay. So I just simply looked at the number of people that joined me, and they had to have come from that particular campaign because I had no other marketing in the marketplace. So 8 people that joined me. And before I did all of my numbers, I said, oh my gosh, I have found it. I have found the holy grail of marketing, because I did not connect with any one of those 8 on Facebook. None of them friended me on Facebook because I didn't put that in my messaging. Okay. I never called anyone. I didn't do a webinar. And for me, that was big because all of my online marketing had been centered around webinars and recorded webinars and things of that nature. So here, all of a sudden, I had 8 people that joined me on autopilot. And I thought, man, I have found it. Okay, I have found it. Now, here was the problem with that particular offer. Okay, great system, great product. All right, the income from the offer did not allow for a steady, consistent marketing campaign. Because what happened of those 8 that joined me is they generated that first month about $400. I think it was like $420 in commissions. Okay, so what was the problem? I put out $1,500. Okay, so while I was extremely excited that I got 8 people to join me on autopilot without me doing anything, all I did was drive traffic. That was it. All right, I don't even remember anyone hitting me back with any questions that I had to answer. It was all on autopilot. I thought I'd found the Holy Grail, but I didn't quite find it because here was the problem. The economics did not pay out for me. All right, I got about $420 in commissions, and yes, if they stayed the course and stayed on a monthly subscription, in time, I would be able to make that up. But that would take a long time because most of the people, I had a couple people that upgraded, but most of the people, all 8 started off with the $19.95. I think I had maybe 2 that did the upgrade. In the robust follow-up sequence I had, the intent was to not only get people to join, but then to also get them to upgrade. So I was like, okay, well, cool. I got 8 people to join. I got a couple of those that upgraded without me saying anything. It was all through the follow-up series, okay? But those numbers prohibited me from being able to go to my audience and saying, hey, you can do this too. You know, first, most people weren't going to have $1,500 to start. Secondly, even if they did, they weren't going to see enough of a return for them to be able to do it again the next month, and then the next month, and then the next month, and so on and so forth. And so I built out this robust series. I knew it got recruits, but we couldn't duplicate that with our team because the economics did not allow it. Now, so here's why I believe that Divvee, if she performs, will be the biggest thing that we've seen, okay? Because with our messaging, your sweat equity starts your marketing budget. There might be some folks, and if you're one of those folks that you've got some resources, you've got room on your credit card or what have you, and you can start off with some paid marketing even before you started generating commissions, go for it. Fantastic. Just don't hurt your family, all right, but go for it, all right? But here's what we know, particularly for those that are going to be able to convert points into gift cards, all right, we're going to be able to use, and we're going to be beating the cash equivalent drum so that people are ranking and sharing, taking a percentage of their ranking and sharing cash equivalents, minimum of 50% to as much as 100%, and that now becoming their marketing budget. And so our focus isn't, did we get back all of our money from that we outlaid in the marketing budget this month? That's not the focus. The focus is to have a steady and consistent marketing budget, because it may take a while before we get it all back, but it compounds. So if all of a sudden, you know, if I had continued that with the next month, you know, I had 400 new subscribers. I had 400 subscribers one month, the first month. Let's say I got 400 subscribers the next, and 400 subscribers the next, and 400 the next. And I was averaging about that 2% conversion rate where I got 8 people to join, okay? Just imagine how that would start to grow, particularly with Divvee, given the fact that it's a matrix. All right, I can only have 3 people on my first level. All right, so if this had been Divvee and I had gotten 8 people to join, all right, let's say I had nobody on my team before those 8 people joined, then here's what would have been my first, my second, my third, my fourth. It goes from left to right, right to left. My fourth would have been here. My fifth would have been here. My sixth would have been here. I think my seventh would have been here. My eighth would have been here. Okay, so now what would have happened is I would have produced some spill, which now when Red here sees that they've got someone, in this case it might have been a couple of people on their team that they had nothing to do with, that probably gets them a little bit more motivated. Okay, and now with Red and Red and Red, if they were duplicating, they're doing their ranking shares, they're getting their points, they're converting those points into cash equivalents, they're taking a percentage of that, and they're reinvesting that back in the form of paid marketing. Now they start getting people coming through their system. They start getting people to join. So let's say Red now has 8 people that joins them. Keep in mind, in my example, Red had 2 people that spilled. So now Red has 8 people that joins them, and now they start to build out their matrix. And a percentage of these people start to duplicate. So our focus is not on, hey, from that traffic campaign, did I make back all of my paid marketing budget for the month? Because next month we should have a paid marketing budget, and the next, and the next, and the next, and the next, okay? So what we are building, big word here, we're building a culture of people that start to understand what marketing is all about. And really, when you get down to its core, marketing is really simple. Marketing is a numbers game. Bottom line, we want large numbers to go to a lead capture page, okay, where we give away immense value in exchange for their contact info. We want to have a emotionally charged and intellectually stimulating sales presentation. So the person opts in, they're going to go to a sales video. You hear us talk about that we want to highlight, magnify the pain of our audience. pour salt on that wound. That's what I mean by emotionally charged. All right, where you're reminding people of their struggle points, you're magnifying their struggle points, pouring salt on the wound, so that now you can bring to them a solution and they want to buy the solution. In this case, it's not really buying, it's joining, okay? At the same time, we want it to be thought-provoking because we understand that we've got varying personality types. Some people will be driven by the emotionally charged part where we're hitting at some deep-seated emotions, okay? Some subconscious type of emotions. And yet there are some folks that the engineering type, the CPA type, that they need some intellectual stimulation, all right? So that's why when we do our webinars, you know, I'm not the 20-minute webinar dude. I want to give you content that makes you think. I want to give you content where you walk away saying, man, I hadn't heard it like that before. That was, it was intellectually stimulating, but it was simple. It wasn't, you know, over the top, okay? So we need to want large numbers to go to a lead capture page where we give away immense value in exchange for the contact information. We have an emotionally charged and intellectually stimulating sales presentation, and then we have a robust follow-up system. This helps us to build a bond with our audience. All right, so I'm close to my time. We normally allot about 90 minutes for what we do. All right, so let me just share with you, so real quickly, some things that we're working on. You've seen this before if you've been on any of our webinars. Lead capture page, all right, lead capture page. Shocking video reveals how to develop a six-figure biz, even if I know a couple of you don't like suck. Some of you say, hey, say stink. The reason we use suck, think of how President Trump became president. And I'm not making a political comment for or against. He was masterful at marketing. He did things that were shock and awe, and it captured people's attention, and with a far smaller budget than his counterpart, he won the presidency. Again, that is not a political statement for or against. That is helping you to understand that in marketing, you want some shock and awe. We might have a capture pages you can use that say, even if you stink at marketing, but even if you suck at marketing, is a little more shock and awe-ish. Okay, all right, and all of our follow-up messaging is going to have this suck in there. So if you like stink and you don't like suck, you know, unless you just have some major problem with it, go with the suck. Or in time, you can develop your own lead capture pages. All right, in our system, we'll have the capture pages developed for you. But in time, you'll be able to leverage software where you can develop your own capture page system. You can modify the email autoresponder, and you can put stink at marketing if you would like, and what have you. All right, so people are going to opt in, but I wanted to show you real quickly a little about the email campaign. So, for instance, right now we have 30 messages. All right. And this one is like halfway through. This is like message. When someone opts in, they immediately go to a sales video. Okay. We want to try to see if we can get them to join you right away. All right. And a small percentage of people will, but most people won't join right away. Then immediately the email series is going to start going out to them. And this is the same type of campaign that I built a few years ago, where I got 8 people to join me without me ever talking to them or what have you. We want to put this on automatic pilot as much as we possibly can. All right. So I want to just kind of give you an example of what this looks like. All right. So you can see here was the headline was multiple streams of income. So this was about 2 weeks into the campaign. Even if you suck at marketing, all right, multiple streams of income, even if you suck at marketing. There's some verbiage. I won't take time to go over that. But then there's going to be a video. Click here for today's training. So they're going to click there. They're going to go to that. All right, training. Ladies and gentlemen, to all of. Okay. All right. So each one of these will have a video training. All right. Some of the trainings are as little as 10 minutes. Some of them might be 20 minutes long. What happens is with each one of those, there is a timer. What we've done is we've gone through each of the videos and we've located the point where it makes sense to have a call to action button to pop up. So even if, and I don't know how long this video is, even if this was 20 minutes, okay, they may not watch all 20 minutes of it, but their call to action button is going to come up in a little more than a minute from now. Okay, so they don't even have to view all of the material before we have a call to action. All right, so here is that particular messaging, and in 53 seconds, you're going to see the call to action button. That button's going to come up. If they click on that button, that's going to take them to a page that's going to have your information coded in it. Okay, your Divvee information. This is why we've been saying we're not going to release this. One, we're not ready now, but we're not going to release this until Divvee is launched, so that you can have your Divvee affiliate link coded in. So when they click on the next link, as it pops up in 24 seconds, when they click on that link, it's going to take them to a page. There's going to be an instructional video for them to join you in Divvee. So we won't have to say, get back to the person that referred you or any of that kind of stuff. Okay, it's going to be right there. All right, so they'll join you in Divvee. Then they'll be able to get the same portal that this messaging is coming from. So you see how as we got to the end of that. Now this video would still be playing, but this call to action would have come up. Okay. Now I want you to pay attention to something that we did real quickly, and we'll be rounding third. All right. So we've basically, with all the messages, we have kind of a model that we're using here. All right. We've got the training for that day. And then we say, hey, did you miss the last two trainings? 2 days ago, we went to Venice, Italy on a mental vacation break. Now, why are we doing that? Well, if they've missed some trainings, we want them to be able to go back, because maybe they didn't open up message 3, 4, 17 or what have you. But maybe this headline just happened to appeal to them. Right day, right time. We caught them on the right day, and they're going through today's training. But we're letting them know, hey, maybe you missed the last two trainings. 2 days ago, we went to Venice, Italy on a mental vacation break. So what we have done is we're infusing. We'll have, let's say, like 2 training messages back to back. Tuesday there's a training message. Wednesday there's a training message. But the third message, we're going to have a little break. We're either going to have a comedian, get people to laugh, or a comedian, or we're going to have a mental vacation break or personal development or what have you. So for instance, maybe for whatever reason, our messaging isn't quite appealing to them just yet, but they say, what's this thing about going to Venice, Italy? And they click on there. All right, and then they watch this video about going to Italy and just having a mental vacation break, and maybe that's what now starts to get them paying attention more. And by the way, in 43 seconds, that same call to action button is going to appear there. We'll also have in there what we shared the previous day. All right, in yesterday's message, we revealed how the underlying platform can afford to pay the obscene amounts of money they're paying out. So maybe they click on there. And now they get, well, good day to all of our awesome friends. Now they get the training that we did the day before. Maybe they didn't open up the training that we did the day before. They open up today's training. We're going to provide links from the previous 2 days training. All right. But it's not all just marketing training or what have you. There's every now and then there's a comedian. Hey, we're taking a laugh break today. All right. But there's going to be that call to action button that's going to pop up. Then there'll be training the next day, and then the next day, and then the day after that, we do a personal development message. All right. And then the next day, another training, and the next day, another. And everything is congruent with our overall messaging of building a 6 to 7 figure business. You too can do it. Even if you suck at marketing, it doesn't matter if you suck at marketing. Our pledge, all of that is all the way through the 30-day series. Okay, and then one last thing I'll show you. And by the way, when I did my series a few years ago, and I said, "Oh man, I think I found the Holy Grail," just the economics were off. I didn't do this part where I included the previous two messages. All I did was I sent out an email every day for 30 days with that particular training message, okay? And then we also do this to get them tuning in, all right? So what's on tap for tomorrow? We shared previously that that your business is you and your following. So in tomorrow's episode, we'll work on your biggest asset, you. Make sure you open up our email until tomorrow, and then you would have your contact information there. So what we're doing is we're providing great content for the day. We're providing the content from the previous 2 days in the event that they missed it, okay? We are setting it up for them to look for our email on tomorrow. And all of the messaging is congruent with the initial sales video, but we simply approach it from different angles with each of the messages. I personally have not seen a more robust follow-up system than what we are putting into place for, well, I would have done it for me anyway, but now we're able with technology to allow you to leverage that just the same. So ladies and gentlemen, I believe this is going to be the biggest thing that we've done because of the things that we outlined. Where did I outline them? I don't see any regulatory issues. It's dealing with mobile. It's for the masses. The management team has shown me a lot in terms of them consistently communicating. Love their overall vision and game plan. I'm about to round third. I'm well past my time. And then with what we're putting into place. And so we've got a lot more, a lot that I did not get to on tonight. Some other things. Let me see what I missed tonight. Oh yeah, I missed quite a bit. Okay, so I tell you what, let's do this. We're going to round third. Let's do this. There's some more information I wanted to cover. I didn't get a chance to cover it. I don't want to wait until next Tuesday to do it. So this coming Thursday, we typically have a RAS webinar. We're going to forego that webinar so that I can finish what I wanted to finish tonight in preparation for the launch. Because I don't know if they're going to open up new enrollments a week from now, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now. I don't know. I want us to be as prepared as we possibly can and ready to, if you are not in the system, get your link, get in the system, and then distribute your link to anyone that may be waiting for your link once we get started. So this coming Thursday, we're going to be right back here on this webinar link. Click Rank and Bank. Click Rank and Bank. Webinar.com. For my RAS folks, we're going to, we'll come back to RAS on the next Thursday. All right. But we'll defer to Divvee and Click Rank and Bank on this Thursday. Okay, so I'm past my time. Thank you for your patience, allowing me that extra time there. Queen, how about we come on, let's take 15 minutes and answer as many questions as we possibly can. This will be the time to put your questions in your questions box. Queen, are you with me? Okay, cool. Oh, Ethel had to leave it. She wasn't feeling that well. Okay. Oh, I'm seeing what Jim put in the questions box. I guess he didn't like my Steelers, huh? Okay, so here's a question I just saw. Bill, yeah, yeah. Bill just put in the question. They're starting to come through now. Yes, but so here's a question for our recorded audience. They said, can we use more than one mobile unit? The answer to that, from what I have seen, is yes. However, earlier on, we were saying rank and share up to 20 activities, but you can have as many as 5 different devices. You don't need that, okay? I rank and share primarily from a tablet, but I can also rank and share from my cell phone. Well, what simply happens is once you're registered with the company, you go in to Google Play and then obviously Apple soon, and you download the app to whatever your device is or devices. Then when you go to rank and share, you log in with your same user name and password that you use to log into the back office. So what that allows you to do is to easily switch from one device to another. Now, one thing I do need to say is they're really going to be cracking down on people using emulators. A few weeks ago, we had not heard that messaging. Someone suggested a particular website that we then shared with the audience for you to be able to go if you didn't have, or if you wanted to do it on your computer, and it could emulate with apps, and you could watch the videos on your apps. Android, okay? They have it programmed where you cannot use emulators, and they now have a tracking mechanism to know if you're using an emulator. So make sure that you're only using a mobile device, i.e. a cell phone, a smartphone, i.e. a tablet, okay? Okay, thank you. A tablet that is Android, or obviously when they do that. Now, I will tell you real quickly that my wife and I went to Amazon, and we got a new tablet. I think it's a RCA, and it actually has, Queen is real cool because it actually has a keyboard, so it looks like a mini laptop. All right. It's a 10-inch. All right. So to me, it's so much easier to rank and share on that than my much smaller phone. And because it has its keyboard, and I mean, I'm looking at right now. It looks like a very small laptop. So what I'm able to do is I'm able to rank and share while I'm doing other stuff. So I was cooking dinner. All right. And guess what? I had it on the counter, and I'm ranking and sharing. Yeah, yeah. When I'll put it when I'm in front of. I do my business from 2 computers, in my office, and I put my little tablet there, and I'm ranking and sharing while I'm doing other stuff, and easy, so easy. Next question.
Have you been paid by Divvee?
Okay, the question is, have we been paid by Divvee? No one's been paid by Divvee. Because we're in pre-launch 1. Number 2, remember, Rank and Share just started a couple weeks ago, and we're all going to be somewhere between 4 to 6 weeks in arrears, based on what I'm understanding, watching the Facebook lives. So just think, it may be 6. That's no different, Queen, in most network marketing companies. You get a sale today, but if they pay once a month, as some companies still do, you may not get paid until the 15th of next month, as an example. This is just the way the ad networks pay. They don't pay, they typically pay 30 to 60 days, 30 to 45 days or so in arrears. So we need to expect that we may be ranking and sharing for 4 to 6 weeks before we see the first payments or the first points that can be redeemed. Now, after that point, though, it should be week-to-week basis, because we've got this rolling 4 to 6 week period. Next question.
CRB, is there a fee with the CRB system?
Yes, Click Rank and Bank. So CRB, the question is there a fee for CRB? You know what? It should be a whole lot more. With all the work it should be a whole lot more than it is. But we want to keep it for the masses, so it's going to be $1 for a 7-day test drive, and after that, it's going to be $30 a month. Okay. Now, I am hoping that will be enough to do everything that we need to do on an ongoing monthly basis. The one concern I have is our biggest expense is going to be our video expense, because the majority of our videos will not be hosted by YouTube or any free system. You always run the risk if you're running on a free system. Years ago, we had our YouTube channel shut down unbeknownst to us. We still don't know why. We had 150 videos on there. And so if we were running our email campaign through YouTube and something happened, then everybody's system doesn't work. Okay, so we're going to use a third party that, as long as we pay our monthly subscription, nobody's going to take down any of our videos. All right. Now, what happens with that third party, all right, where it's our content, we own the content, is for a certain monthly subscription amount, we get a certain amount of bandwidth. And once we go over that, it costs us, more. So the more people that are viewing the videos, then the more we're going to go over that bandwidth. And, so I expect to have a huge monthly video bill. I'm hoping that the $30 a month, along with the fact that we are paying out 33%, so basically $10. So that means that we'll have about $20 to administer everything. If it looks like that won't be enough, and we have to go up on that fee for the reasons that we just mentioned, all right, and not to mention in time when we have numbers, perhaps even having, hiring staff for support and all that other good stuff. If we have to go up on that number, we'll grandfather the folks that get it for $30 a month at that amount. If we have to go up to $39 a month or $49 a month or what have you, that will not impact those people that get it at the $30 a month. Okay, so we've priced it in such a way. We've priced it well below the market value of what it should be priced at, but we've done that specifically so that anybody who's really serious about the portal and sees the value can get it. Even someone living in another country, $30 a month, while it still might be a decent amount of their monthly income. I know, having lived in a third world country, if they're ranking and sharing and they're getting the points and what have you, they should be able to offset that pretty quickly. Plus, by our paying out a commission that allows you to have three personally enrolled folks that get the system, that pays for itself. And every message that we send out lauds not only that they join you when they click on this take action and join our team today. They're going to go to a page. Step 1 is to join you in Divvee. Step 2 is to get Click, Rank, and Bank from you. So both of your links, your Divvee link and your CRB link, will be programmed into that particular page. Great question. Next question. If it's not an Android, is that an Android device? I don't know. Yeah. Oh, okay. What I got was a tablet. It was not a laptop. The point I was making about that tablet, and I know it's an RCA something. I got it from Amazon. I think it was like $109. I don't think it was more than 120 US dollars. I got it because I don't like looking at my phone. My phone, I don't have one of those gargantuan Samsungs. I don't like looking at my phone, and I like being able. When I saw it had a keyboard, I was like, cool, because I don't like. I don't even like texting on my phone. All right, so I saw it had a little keyboard, and I was like, cool, that looks like a little mini laptop. It's not a laptop, it looks like a mini laptop. Then when it came in, I fell in love with it because now I can set it up on my counter. I can set it up on my. Queen, I'm ranking and sharing while as I'm brushing my teeth. I just said, yeah, because I just said it right. I just said it right there. I go on and rank and share. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm looking down at it. Do I want that app? No, don't want that one. Let's go to the next one. All right. While I'm cooking, while I'm watching. I'm not much of a news person, Queen. But at one point I wanted to be a politician, so I love political news. Normally after. So I always love the presidential election season because that's just part of that whole political part of me that I enjoy that kind of stuff. And normally, right after the election, I don't watch any political news for another 4 years. But oh boy, has been really entertaining. So I'm always watching to see what's happening next. That was not a political comment for or against. I'm just saying it's different. Yeah, so Queen, I'm sitting there and I'm watching that, and I've got it there. When I watched the Atlanta Falcons just choke and allow Tom Brady to win his 5th Super Bowl, that really ticked me off because that means that he won one more than my Steelers Bradshaw. Guess what I was doing? I was ranking and sharing, Queen. It is so cool. Yeah, so cool, so easy. Next question. Uh-huh.
Whenever you're looking at a tablet, and tablets are going to what kind of operating system it has. And if it has an Android operating system, that's fine. Use that tablet. Some tablets are not an Android operating system.
The tablet I have, by the way, thank you. A couple of you put that in here. RCA Viking. Thank you. I didn't even remember the name of it. Yeah, RCA Viking is the name of the one. That you don't have to do that. I'm just saying that works really good for me, and I like that. I like ranking and share. I got a 10-inch screen, so it's much bigger than my phone, and but I still have the app on my phone as well. So that way, let's say if I was in the grocery store line, and I wanted to log in real quickly and rank and share, a couple apps if I have the time, then I can do that on my phone as well. So, any other questions?
Someone made note that they had gone to Walmart and ordered an Android, purchased an Android phone, which they not like upset. His
You don't have to spend a lot of money, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to. Now, here's one of the things I would strongly recommend that you do. All right, as we always talk about, you want to take a percentage of your cash equivalents and recap or reinvest that in the form of the tools, the resources, and paid marketing. Okay, one of the resources I want you to consider would be both an Android and Apple mobile device. All right. I'm not saying do it now. Okay. If you've got the resources, great. I'm not saying do it now. What I'm saying is ultimately you want to have an Android device and you want to have an Apple device. What happens if they have some type of bug with Android and Android is down for a period of time or what have you? Well, then you could go over to your Apple, or vice versa. There's no R in vice versa, okay? Or vice versa. So consider that as one of the resources that you're going to want ultimately in your business, okay?
last question, Sam, for the monthly payment, how will it be?
I don't think, no, I'm pretty sure the system that we're going to be using doesn't do Bitcoin, but I know they do all your major credit cards and probably PayPal as well. So you're probably getting PayPal and all major credit cards, MasterCard, Visa, Discover, American Express. And they're also handling all of the affiliate payouts. And I think they'll even pay by PayPal as well as maybe wire and or check. If you're in the U.S., it might be a check. You might even be able to have it directly deposited into your bank account. I'm not sure, but I know PayPal is a payout option. Wire is a payout option. I'll have to check as to what other payout options they have. Okay? Any other questions? All right. So somebody's saying, Bill is saying he got a tablet from 10-inch tablet. Good. So that's a nice high screen there. He took advantage of an AT&T free promotion. So good there. Dr. Chris, I'll have to connect with you. Let's see. Operating system, which is based on Google Android, but has no Google services or apps. Dr. Chris, I'll have to check, because if that means I got to learn something different, that would be my challenge. I don't have enough time to learn anything differently. Right now, it's so. I've used S3 in the past, and maybe it was just me, but it seemed to be difficult for me. I'm not a techie, and the system that I use now I've just used for so long, and it's very easy for me to get to my programmer. So I'd be more than happy to take a look at that, but it's got to be ease of use for me as well, because right now it's easy for me to get my codes to my programmer and for him to put things in and for us to make whatever changes we have to make. So thanks, Dr. Chris. We'll connect on that and see if that is a potential solution. All right. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we love each and every one of you. Yes, Queen.
Someone's asking about the other ways to gain coins. Right now,
Okay.
those coins are valued at. So they basically said, not to really link that right now, and you'll have more understanding of that later.
Okay. So all right. So here was the question. Right now, when we're ranking and sharing, what we can see is something that they call coins, but they haven't really told us what these coins mean. All right. And there's a section where you're just watching your videos and you're earning coins. We don't really know what these coins mean just yet. They have said that coins do not mean commissions. Coins are not points. So it's some other category. All right. And you're earning coins as you're watching the various videos about the apps. Or they could be commercials, like I've seen a couple commercials about some streaming services that aren't necessarily apps, but you can try the streaming service. I think, Queen, I'm seeing one where CBS has a streaming service, and they've got a show that's going to be on that streaming service. They've been promoting that. There's also a section where you can do other activities that are not just viewing videos and earn coins. Some of them are downloading an app. Some of them are downloading an app and playing it and getting to a certain level. And if you do that, you get so many more coins. Some of those would be doing like a 30-day trial of a product or a service, and you get so many coins. We just don't know what those coins mean. So I don't know, what a big deal that is or is not just yet. So, Charles, I'm not doing any of that. And according to Queen, Queen, can we not do it, or are they just saying don't worry about it right now?
You can do whatever you want to do, but the whole thing is they basically said don't worry about those right now, and that was on one of the videos that they did with the daily updates.
Okay.
Because the people have been sending in questions.
Okay. Someone is asking, and this will be the last one. We'll call it a night after this. How soon will we launch CRB? Ideally, it will come very soon after Divvee has launched. I'm making an assumption. I'm not making an assumption. I'm hoping that maybe Divvee is launching in the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks or what have you. So let's say if it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now, we would be launching CRB probably a few days after that. Now, it may not be complete from the standpoint of what I want to see everything as, but the biggest thing to me is to have the lead capture pages and to have the email system ready to go. All right. All the other content that we'll have, we can load as we go. If we're at the same point 3 weeks from now and we've got everything to go with CRB, but Divvee has not launched, then we'll look at whether or not we would launch CRB before Divvee launches. Now, why might we consider that? All right. The reason we might consider that, knowing that we don't have everything in place, because in order for the email system to work, we need to have your Divvee link and we need to have your CRB link. Okay. But what we might do, let's say 3 weeks has come and Divvee is not yet launched, we might go on and launch CRB just so that people can at least get used to the functionalities of CRB. And start going through some of the trainings that we would have loaded. But I would only want to do that if we have heard that Divvee's launch is imminent, okay? Because I want you to get the whole idea is for you to be able to leverage CRB to build out your Divvee organization. So I could see a scenario in which we launch CRB before Divvee, but it would only be like 3 weeks out. I would not launch CRB in the next 2 weeks if Divvee hasn't launched. One, because that still gives me time to work on it more. But number two, I really, in an ideal world, CRB would launch a few days after Divvee has launched. That would be the ideal. Okay. All right. With that being said, you guys and guyettes have been amazing, particularly on the night of love. Thank you for being on, thank you for being on the webinar. We love each and every one of you. Our next webinar will be on Thursday. We'll be right back here at this webinar link, okay, on Thursday to finish up what we didn't get a chance to do on tonight. So we're going to forego RAS on Thursday in lieu of CRB and Divvee on Thursday. Plus, there'll be another update that they'll do, so we might have some more information to impart on Thursday night about Divvee. Love you. Let's change the world together, starting with yours. Click, rank, and bank. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.